Hi guys, and welcome again to Freckle Finance. Today my video is going to be on whether taking on student loan debt is worth it. Also make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, as well as subscribe if you haven't done so already. Many of us aim to get a higher education, which involves going to either college or university usually, but is the student debt really worth it? First of all, I want to start off by saying this is not a one-size-fits-all answer. The answer may be different for one person to the next, and it really just depends on the factors that I'm going to be discussing. The first thing to do is when you're interested in attending a program at a college or university, check out what the jobs actually pay when you graduate. And don't just check out what the jobs pay at entry level, check what the future potential is as well. This will give you a really good idea of what you might make when you graduate. But also check the chances that you will get a job. There are many fields that can pay really high incomes and the education can be very expensive, but in order to get a job, getting a job is very difficult, so it might not actually pay out for you in the end. The next step would be to figure out how much the tuition and books are going to cost and how much debt you're going to have to take on. There are so many degrees that you can get that are a bad decision, that will put you into too much debt when you graduate, that you won't be able to live comfortably for a significant amount of time, and it's probably not worth your time to get the education in that field. The next thing to do is to figure out how long it will take you to pay off that debt and what kind of lifestyle you will be living in order to pay off the debt. If you're gonna have to be rice and beans living out of your parents' basement for the next 10 years, is it really worth it to get that education? Some may still feel that that's the case, but it's best to come in educated about how much it's going to cost you and what your lifestyle is actually going to be like when you graduate. Because there are many of us who have graduated and are quite angry with how much debt we ended up taking on and how we were told that getting your degree is the only way that you can get a good job and that you will get a good job when you graduate. And it's not actually true for a lot of people. If you're watching this video and you're still in high school and you're considering going to post-secondary education, I highly suggest that you follow these steps that I just gave you and figure out how much it will cost for this education, because you can start saving money now towards your education so that you will take on less debt, which can help you in deciding what you want to take or what you want to study. It won't limit you as much as it will if you have to take entirely all debt out on it and have no money to pay for your education. If you're someone that's already in university or college, can you get a job now to reduce the amount of debt you will have when you graduate? So there are people who use their loan money that they've been given to buy alcohol, buy clothes, party, restaurants, all sorts of things, and that's not what this money should be used for, and you will be putting yourself at a serious disadvantage in the future if you do that. So that's a number one thing. Do not spend your money on that. If at all costs, if you can't live at home and you have to pay to live somewhere like I did in university, get a job that at least covers those costs so that you're only actually getting debt towards your actual education. And once again, work more hours to reduce the amount of debt you'll have when you graduate, if possible. If when you've taken all these factors into consideration, you come to the conclusion that you're going to be taking on more debt than you're really going to be comfortable with when you graduate, I would consider looking at a different school or even a cheaper program, or just reassess everything. Because if it's actually going to not be an enjoyable life once you graduate with this debt, because it's so much that you can't actually enjoy your life afterwards, then you really need to consider, is this really a job you want to do? Do you really want to stick it out for that long and it be rough for that long in order to get this education and get that dream job? There are many jobs available where you don't actually need to get a degree and you don't need to pay tons of money into an education to get the job. Now, are they considered the jobs that everyone wants these days? Not usually, but I think you should take a serious look at it. There's lots of jobs in the trades or jobs that have apprenticeships where you actually get paid during your education. It'll completely take out having to have this debt when you graduate, and you will actually be in potentially a better off position because a lot of the trades actually pay really well. So if you're currently in university or college, do what you can going forward to reduce the amount of debt you will be taking on for the rest of your time in school. And if you also can, try to pay off some of that debt, maybe during summer when you have more time to work, or just pick up a part-time job. But honestly, you will thank your future self if you don't take on a lot of debt during university or college. And personally, if I went back in time, I probably wouldn't study psychology and biology like I did. There's pretty much either only low-paying jobs or no jobs unless you get a master's or a PhD, and even then, they don't pay that much money. And this was not the impression that I was under when I started this. And it's I'm not blaming anyone, but that's just a fact. And I ended up getting into a completely different field instead of getting more education because I did not want to take on more debt and I did not want to go to school. And it's all turned out okay, but I'm not really using my education at my job. And I'm saying this as a Canadian who only spent $20,000 on a 4-year degree, which is about typical for when I was graduating on what people spent. So in the US, I know that it can be significantly higher that people are paying. And I'm saying I don't think it was worth it. And it was about $20,000, and I had about $7,000 of debt when I graduated. So remember to educate yourself on what the future holds in the career that you are looking into, and do your research. I am also interested to know how you guys feel about the education you received and how much debt you took on. Do you think it's worth it? Let's kind of start a discussion on this, so anyone who's coming to this video, especially someone who has not started university or college yet, and they can see what people really think, because I kind of feel when you're in high school that you feel a lot differently than you did probably when you graduated. So definitely comment down below how you feel about your education and if it was worth it. And remember, no matter what your financial situation is, make sure to have a great day. Bye.